Welcome everybody to another edition of Trucker Tools Talks. Every week, we're interviewing people from across the trucking industry for business tips and updates on what's happening in the market. Today, we're joined by Aubry Oden. Thanks for speaking with us today, Aubry.
Hello. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Very excited to talk with you today.
I am excited to be here. I appreciate it so much. I'm a huge supporter, huge fan of you guys. I love Trucker Tools. I actually just ran into you guys at Matt's, the Mid-America Truck Show 2022. So it was great seeing you guys there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I unfortunately did not get to go to Matt's this year, but one of my teammates, Jessica, was there. I'm not sure if you got to talk with Jessica.
I did. We actually got some selfies together, but next year you need to make sure that you're there because it was amazing.
I would love it. To begin with, can you tell us about how you got your start in trucking and what you do currently?
Yes, absolutely. So how I got started into trucking is my fiance actually was a truck driver. I was a stay-at-home mom. Well, not really stay-at-home mom, but a stay-at-home mom. I had a job. I worked at a huge Fortune 500 health insurance company. I was there for almost 5 years. I was a health insurance agent, and that's what I did. However, they didn't offer me any benefits whatsoever. So I was like, okay, something's not working out here. I'm working for an insurance company and don't have insurance. So let me think about my options here. And so I started seeing how much money my fiance was making, and I was like, all I had to do is drive. Yeah, I got this. And that's how I kind of got started on with my CDL process. So my fiance actually was my trainer. And so I stayed on the truck with him for about 6 months. And after I stayed on the truck with him and really got secure, we actually went solo and we started expanding our fleet and leasing out trucks to hire drivers on. And that's how I started.
So what was that like for you guys? I've been in a broker seat. I was a broker before I joined the Trucker Tools family for about 15 years. What was that like dynamic wise for you two going solo? Like I imagine having your fiance in the truck with you every day has its own constraints and issues, bonuses and negatives, right? Bonuses and positives.
Absolutely.
How was that going solo? How was that transition or that going solo for you guys?
So when I first went solo, I was scared to death because my slogan while I was in training is when in doubt, give Brandon a shout. So anytime I thought I was going to hit something, I couldn't do something, I had questions, I woke Brandon up. He was my clutch. And I feel like, unfortunately, I see a lot of women in this industry who do team drive, and I'm not taking away their skill whatsoever, but they haven't perfected their skill in all the way possible that they can because they have a steady clutch. And because of that, I realized that when I was going to some of these events by myself and it came time to me to back this truck up, and I'm like, Brandon's not here anymore, I realized that I have to back up my talk. And in order for other men who have been doing this industry for 40 years to respect me, I have to show them something to respect. And that's my skill. So I was so scared at first, but then I got it and I loved it. And we just got back on the truck together and I'm like, I just want to go back solo because I just hate it. You're just on the truck together. I love my fiance. I really do love him. But it's like, just imagine you and your spouse being restrained to a cubicle all day, every day.
I actually have been there. My wife and I, at one of the brokerages we actually worked at together, and we were on the same team and we worked within 5-10 feet of each other, so I can commiserate with that being in the same space. We actually work together now. We don't work for the same company, but she works from home as well as I do. So
oh wow,
she works in the office upstairs, I work downstairs. We have to have that little bit of separation. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been times where he's gone inside the truck stop and I was like, I'm talking about just foot to the gas pedal all the way to the floor. But then I would turn around and come back and pick him right back up. So it's really no point.
That urge is there sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So I guess speaking of the trucking lifestyle, what kind of freight do you pull and what do you like about the trucking lifestyle?
So I am dry van. I haul anything. I've hauled plants. I've hauled Bath and Body Works. I've hauled airplane parts. I've hauled plastic imports from China. I've hauled cop car transmission, the transmission for cop cars. I've hauled that. I've hauled high value loads such as brand new Samsungs, new PS5s, or whatever PS is out right now. I'm not a gamer, so I'm sorry. But I've just literally, it's so funny because I think to myself, what have I not hauled? I mean, I've hauled rice, sugar. The list just goes on and on and on.
The longer you stay in the game, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're doing this in the month of May, and mental and physical health go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about some of the mental and physical challenges that truckers have to deal with?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can only reference this back to myself. A lot of the times when I talk about my experience in trucking, I like to talk about my experience because everybody's experience in this industry is going to be different. I came in this industry 135 pounds, I want to say, when I first got my CDL. We'll just say 150 just to be safe. But I was very active. I was, at home with my kids all the time. So it was a lot of running around from 6 a.m. until they go to sleep. So a lot of mothers know how that is. And so to get out of that lifestyle and just to go, 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 go to constantly sitting, my body, as soon as I got in the truck, I could tell just changes. I would put on weight, I would lose weight. I'd put on weight, I'd lose weight. And I actually want to take this time to give a huge shout out to Fitz Possible Trucking. I don't know if you know that it is, but Candace from Fitz Possible Trucking is like my clutch. That is my baby right there. I had a situation on the truck to where I was so fat, and I called Candace one day and I'm like, Candace, I'm so fat and ugly and I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'm having a breakdown, okay? And she's like, you're not, sweetie. God, you're perfect. And bless her heart, but it ended up coming to find out I was having a lot of abdominal cramping, and I kept putting it off and kept putting it off and I kept putting it off. And one day it just hit me so bad that I was at an event and I actually blacked out from pain. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to drink some water and I'm still going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep on trucking. And one day I literally blacked out on my truck, and my mom actually had to call the ambulance and they had to come get me off the truck. And I was 4 months pregnant in my fallopian tube, and it almost tore, and I would have bled out internally on the back of my truck and nobody would have even known. So I think that mental health and physical health goes hand in hand. This is a very stressful job. Sorry, somebody almost hit my truck. This is a very stressful job, as you can see. And you never just get a moment to chill, like what just happened. I'm sitting here and somebody's literally about to run into my truck. So with that high stress, that does stuff to your body. So you have to take some time to get out and walk and just kind of woo-saw and get your thoughts together, because everything goes hand in hand in this industry. It really does.
What is that? Big Mama's house?
Yeah. Woosah.
I remember that very well.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's funny that I remember being in this industry so long. I spent some time at truck stops from time to time, and I remember you'd see drivers doing laps around their rigs, right? Just something to get them out and get some exercise, get the blood flowing. So I can understand that. I'm very sorry to hear about the fallopian tube pregnancy. My goodness, talk about a scary.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's so crazy. The whole process is crazy because number one, I had no idea I was pregnant. Number two, by the time I found out I was pregnant, the whole situation. And I think I couldn't really cope with that. So my best way to cope with it was to work. So I literally was one day out of surgery and then had two women on my truck that I was training, and I was sleeping in the passenger seat, so it's just one of those things. What I'm realizing about most truckers in this industry is we're just a different kind of breed. Like we're so strong and we're so resourceful and we're so optimistic in the most negative situations. And I think that's why, if you typically look at the broad of us, if you put us next to each other, we're all going to kind of have these same similarities or these same moral values, I should say, because we really will just push until there's nothing left for us to give.
Don't I know it? Uncle, who's a truck driver, who's been doing it longer than I've been alive. So,
right. Yeah, I know a few of those truckers too. I'm like, I don't even know what they're like, but you know, I'm the new generational trucker, so I'm the plastic truck with the foot up in the windshield. They always talk about me. I'm like, it's okay. We all have to start somewhere.
Right, that's right. You're still moving freight down the road, right?
Right.
Earlier when we were talking, you had also mentioned that you recently discovered a mass on your colon that needs a biopsy.
Yes. So
go ahead.
Yes, that was a shocker. So if you guys follow me on my TikTok, I am one of those people where I tell you guys all the time, I keep it real. If I don't know something, I'm going to tell you. If there's ugly parts of this, I'm going to show you. And I was having severe abdominal pain on actually the left side where they didn't remove a fallopian tube. So I went into the hospital and I'm telling the doctor, I'm like, look, I'm gonna save you some time here, doc. Okay, I know what's going on. Okay, it's a fallopian tube pregnancy. I just went through this, and the doctor's looking at me and he's like, yeah, okay. So we actually did a CT scan, and so they pumped fluid in through an IV to light up, I guess, your muscle tissue or whatever. I'm not really sure the terminology, you guys, so don't quote me. But during that process, they found that I had a mass on my colon. Now, the thing about that, you guys, and I'm going to be honest, is I had symptoms prior to this. I would see a lot of commercials, and I felt like God was kind of telling me, I would see commercials about stuff, and I'm like, kept seeing the same commercial. I'm like, why do I keep seeing this commercial? And then I had the pain and I had the symptoms, and I'm like, I was taking medicine to offset the symptoms that I was having, but that was only creating a bigger problem because it was only putting a temporary band-aid on the problem that I had.
Kind of masking it, right?
Right. So one day I was just having so much pain. Finally, I went to the hospital. They were like, yeah, so you're going to have to go get a colonoscopy. And then right after the colonoscopy, you're going to have to get a colon biopsy the same day. So I'm like, but again, you know, unfortunately in this industry, a lot of people don't understand that truckers, we get no benefits. So if something's wrong with us and we have to stop the truck, company drivers, you know, they walk away with knowing that they can't drive, they're not going to have a paycheck. So, you know, they're not losing anything, but they're not making anything at the same time. As his owner operators, we still have truck payments, we still have trailer payments, we still have insurance. And so if the truck is not moving, what profit is covering the truck expense? So it's a little bit different for us to be in a hospital bed and be like, okay, yeah, my bill, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, but at the same time, I'm not going to be able to pay my truck either. So when I come out of the hospital, what am I really going to have? And that's why you'll see so many truckers will literally die on their truck, because they will die under a load and let their family get their life insurance policy before they stop this truck and go to a hospital and have to have surgery, and they cannot pay their bills for the following 1 to 2 months.
Right. That's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to unpack and have to deal with. I'm really sorry that you're having to deal with that.
It's fine. I feel like it's one of those situations where I know that the Almighty would not put anything on me that I cannot handle, and I do know that, and I do know that this too is going to pass. It's just one of those things to where it's like, now I have to kind of fit my health into my schedule. And I know that's going to sound crazy and people are going to be like, that's not how that works. But in being realistic, that is how it works. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a really positive attitude to have. So how do you stay positive during difficult times like this when you're out on the road?
I think about where I came from. I've been homeless, and I know that I never want to go back to that. I've been broke. I never want to go back to that. So if it means me driving this truck and having to grit down my teeth and endure pain, then that's what I'll do, because I'd rather go through that type of pain than the financial pain, the pain that being financially broke brings.
Stress.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to see the industry do to better support preventative health care for drivers?
I think a lot of these mega carriers should give employees paid time off. I feel like if you take the amount of hours that we work and you compare it to an office job, the amount of paid vacation that they would be mandatory to give truck drivers would be ridiculous. I think that that's another thing. Compensate some of these drivers, or let them have some days where they can go home and do what they need to do for themselves and kind of be paid for it, if that makes sense. But I think that not offering them anything and just telling them, hey, go home and your home time is on you is not the way to do it.
Right. How do you think we accomplish, because a lot of drivers are owner operators. There's a lot of owner operators out there. Yourself,
yes.
One. That's the really curious part to me, is how do we support owner operators that are running their own businesses out of a truck, and to make sure that they have the ability to take care of themselves and live a healthy lifestyle and be able to still come back and have their job there at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be so hard because, that goes into the politics and how people believe healthcare should be broken down and all of that. However, I do feel like truckers should get some type of not exemption, but some type of break as far as insurance goes, whether it's and it's funny because I work insurance, so I can honestly talk about this. I think there needs to be some changes as far as, if your occupation is truck driver, they see that we make X amount of money. They don't see our deductions, and the X amount of money that we make bases our monthly premiums, as well as our deductible, as well as our plan's maximum out of pocket. So you could turn around and pay $600 a month for an insurance plan that turn around and has a deductible of $5,000, which means that you out of pocket up to $5,000, which could also have a maximum out of pocket up to $10,000, which means if you have, let's just say, cancer and you have to do treatment, you have to reach that $10,000 maximum out of pocket before your policy will even cover the rest of it. So I think that understanding your insurance policy, number one, I think there should be a lot more workshops to kind of break down the policy so people understand what they're getting, number one. Number two, I also feel like there needs to be a lower cost in premium or a lower cost in deductible. Somewhere you have to kind of meet us in the middle, understanding our job and what we do.
Right. Thanks again, Aubry, for joining us today and sharing all the insights. And thanks to our audience for tuning in for another edition of Trucker Tools Talks. Aubry, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way? Where do people find you at? What's your social media details?
So my biggest social media right now, I'm on all social media platforms, but the biggest one is TikTok. But I am on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and it is all Trucking with Aubry. So TRUCKING with AUBRY. And we're actually getting ready to do a Insta Traction Big Gripper giveaway on my TikTok. So if you need some grippers for your truck, your tires, please go follow me to be eligible for that giveaway.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aubry.
Thank you.
To the audience, if you have someone in mind that you'd like us to interview or have any questions, use the comment box to let us know. And again, appreciate you all for being here.